Hey everybody, it's Jeff Abramson here. I'm your instructor for CS161A here at PCC. Purpose of this video is a bit of orientation to the class, show you a little bit about the environment and the tools and so on. It's not a full rundown of the whole syllabus, so you'll definitely want to go through that syllabus as you prepare to jump in for this class here. My contact information is here. Is the best way to reach me. I will provide my cell number upon request as well. The first topic here before we get into the material of the class though is to talk about the format of the class. This is a distance learning course. There are no set class meeting times. There may be some confusion on this. I believe I've seen in some places this class having some set meeting times, but there are no set meeting times. You're going to work on this material on your own. We will have sessions as needed. Q&A sessions or demos and recordings and things like that. And office hours are available throughout the term. My students find me very responsive. It generally is feedback I continue to get is that I'm easily available. I'll meet when we need to meet. The main thing is just not right before a deadline because I'm not a night owl here. So if this is not the format for you, hopefully you're reading this in time and watching this in time to make a change to swap into one of the different formats of the class here. This class is administered through PCC's D to L, Distance to Learn environment here. I'm not going to talk about how to use D to L. If you're a first-time user of this, there are some resources here and tutorials that you'll want to go through here. This is what the class should look like when you log in. You can see here I'm viewing this as a student here, so this is what it should show up for you. This is the name of our class. We're doing Programming and Problem Solving 1. This is spring 2024, although we may be in the future here and you may be watching the same video later past there, but of course the material should match whatever class you're enrolled for here. Current announcements will show up in this announcement pane, and you can dismiss the announcement, of course, but you can always get them back by going to the announcement tool. And once you go to the announcement tool, you'll have all the past announcements. And so if you end up dismissing it before you want, you'll get a chance to review those there. The announcements are really important. You want to view them every week at least. You got to watch for this is, for example, the week 1 information. It talks about what we're going to do, and it talks about what's due at the end of the week. In the context of most of these classes, the end of the week is the Sunday night. So our weeks go Monday to Sunday. And so here we are preparing for week 1. The material, kind of starts on the Monday, and then these items are due on the Sunday at the end of that week here. One thing I want to mention here is you might notice you'll see some dates here. If you ever see a date that does not match things in here, the calendar that's built in to our deliverables, that's your master date. There could be a typo somewhere, and we could fix that if you could let me know here. But you can see the calendar here on the right. I happen to be recording this just before the spring class is starting here. And you could see there's a course information quiz, which is a necessary thing to kind of show that you've navigated the area and you can get some things unlocked, right? So that's what you'll want to do here. This is the menu bar here. This is where you're going to get access to many of the things here. We're going to walk through most of these here. This help option will give you help desk and tutoring, things like this. This class list will show who's enrolled. So if you're trying to reach out to somebody else in the class, you can do that. You can upload a photo as well for your account, which I like because I don't see all of you on a regular week, like if we were in Sylvania together, for example. Your grades will show up here as they're posted. Ungraded items will show up as zeros. And what that means is that the calculation to the final grade is going to assume that if you do nothing else, that's where you stand. That's more helpful than where's your grade at now based on one thing you've turned in here. So the syllabus will show you how the grade is calculated as well, and we can talk about that. Here in the Zoom tab is where office hours and demos and other things will get scheduled. If there's recorded videos, they may be here on Zoom, but I'll probably just put them on YouTube. It's the easiest thing for me to do is put them on YouTube, and that's where you found this video too, right? Right now there'll be nothing in here. Let me click on this lobby thing here. You can see there's a few things here in lobbies. Ask questions is one of our discussion threads. The course schedule shows the weekly plan. ZiBooks or ZI Books is our online textbook. You're going to want to get this book. Unfortunately, you got to pay for it, but it's a really good resource. Replit is one of the development environments that you can use, and I'm going to show you that one here as well. I happen to have it up in another browser tab here. And then Code Step by Step is a resource that lets you practice a bunch of example codes here. Okay, so we go to ZiBooks, for example. I don't know if it's ZiBooks or ZY Books. You're going to want to create your account and get your book and so on. I can send out some additional information about this, but if you have any questions on that, let me know. If we go to activities, let's click on activities here. You have assignments, documents, and quizzes. There aren't any assignments in here. It's managed in a different way. But you can go to the discussion boards and you can ask questions, reply to threads, and so on. One thing I'll say about these online discussions is that I've had classes where they're like ghost towns and people do their introductions and that's pretty much it. In other classes where there's lots of stuff going on, both on topic and off topic, this is only as good as you make it. I'd recommend using the discussion boards to post, to get help from other people, to ask questions, etc. I respond pretty quickly to email, but sometimes the other students will respond faster. And I'd encourage that collaboration here. And then under quizzes, there's only the one quiz, which is this course information quiz. The exams are done like programming assignments, and so they don't show up here as quizzes. Okay, let's click on content here. So your content is going to show you, like when you first start, it's going to have all this course information. It's really important you go through all this stuff. I know it's paperwork and administrivia and bookkeeping and housekeeping and stuff, but the syllabus and how I grade and how to reach me and the schedule is all important here, as well as things like the style guide, which is how I expect your code to look, how I grade, the apps, and so on. This stuff is all in here, and you can walk through this. This style guide is very important, right? You can think of like this as like the Oxford comma and things like that. Every programming language has required formatting rules and then styles. And in programming, there's a million different styles. And the most important thing is that you're consistent. And if I have a requirement, you follow the requirement. And this comes from, my life managing hundreds of software engineers on projects where you have to set rules and you have to set boundaries. Otherwise, every software engineer does their own thing. And all the 100 things are all good, but they're all different. And it's impossible to understand the naming conventions and where the comments are and whether the curly braces are here or here and so on. Those of you that have written code are, probably following a little bit of what I'm describing here. But you're going to want to make sure you follow the style guide and document your code. The module, I don't show you module 1 because it actually hasn't been unlocked here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the master view, which is the instructor view. And if I go to content, now you see all the different modules that'll unlock. And if I go to module 1, And you can see here is you got to do the course information quiz. And once you do that, the module will unlock. You can scroll down and you can go through these different pieces of information. But if you click on one of these, like here's the module 1 overview, tells you what we're going to do, tells you how much time you might spend. It tells you some of the work that's required. And if you click on these arrows here, you can go to the next item in the list. And here's a discussion, for example. Click again. Here's the assignment. And so for assignments, the assignments here are Google Documents we use for the repository. So you'll basically bring this document up and you'll make a copy of it, and then you'll submit it. Okay, and so and you could follow the rules for this. Really important. I accept PDF documents and PDF documents only. I don't accept links, and I don't accept zip files, and I don't accept screenshots. So I should put that in here, right? I should take a moment and say assignments, doc format only, no links, no zips, no screenshots, etc. Remember, I'm grading a bunch of different assignments. Everything's got to be consistent. And I'll give you feedback on that early on. And you'll always have a chance to resubmit. I have a very flexible submission, late submission policies, which you can read about in the syllabus. I kind of offer close to infinite flexibility, although there's a final deadline, which is the Friday before the final exam. Generally, I'll give you the chance to submit something a second time. We'll work on this kind of stuff. I call it kind of infinite flexibility. You got to communicate with me, though. And if you wait till 3 days after the deadline and then ask to do something and I've moved on, it's probably going to be too late. Okay. Let's see. Anything else I want to talk about in terms of housekeeping and logistics? Regarding my contact information, I will provide, my cell number upon request. I live in the Seattle metro area, so I'm not on-campus instructor. And so we're in the same time zone, right? But obviously most of all of our interaction will be virtual here over Zoom. And so, again, you'll find me very easy to reach and to work with here. This is Replit. And Replit is a cloud-based, browser-based coding environment. When you read through the syllabus, it's going to show you that you have you can use Visual Studio or VSC, or you could do command line stuff using, G++. You have a lot of flexibility. And fortunately, it's easier than it used to be. I remember when I was teaching, I think it was CS161A, 10 plus years ago, and the occasional student who would want to work on a Mac, the code never worked for me, and my demos never worked for her, which is what a mess, right? It's much easier now. But if for whatever reason something works for you, but it doesn't work for me, that's a problem, and we'll need to resolve that. And it might mean that you have to switch your tools here. But you'll do your development in here, for example. This is some very basic C++ code. If I click run, it prints out this message here. And I can change the code. I can click run. It's doing its thing. And it printed out the new results, right? So this is one of the methods you can use. If you've taken CS160, you use Replit for Python, right? And so that's what's kind of cool is you can do that here with this. Real quick, back to this workload chart. Every student is different. This isn't intended to give you an idea of the stuff we're doing and how long it might take. We don't have in-class hours, right? So we use the same material in all the classes, so I chose to keep the in-class hours as the amount of time that you want to add to your work to do what we might normally do in in-class hours. And so if I schedule a demo, you can count that as your in-class hours time, right? But just to give you a sense of, how much time you'll want to spend, this is a very technical class. Programming can be tricky. You'll fall into these traps of having these weird failures that are hard to debug, and it will take time. I do a lot of production development of digital hardware and software, and I hit these stupid bugs all the time. And just last week I had one of those classic, facepalm bugs. That's the classic double equal bug that we'll talk about a bit later in the class on some production code that I was writing. And it happens. Okay? And so just some guidelines on what you need to do here. Let me go back. Let me go to the syllabus real quick just to kind of show you. That's in course information. A lot of stuff in here for you to go through. Okay, let me go through the syllabus real quick. We've talked about a lot of this. Here's your information about the textbook. Okay, and so here's what you need to do for the textbook software. Here's the workload chart for the entire class. I just showed you week 1 earlier. Some policies and some structure and other things here as I scroll down. Here's the programming assignments and talk about how they get graded. I'm not going to go through this now because what I've learned is people don't want to see this until they're ready to start their assignment. Here's your grading criteria. This people like to see right away. Your assignments are worth half your grade. Discussions is a 10% piece, and then your 2 exams, which are also programming assignments, are the extra 40%. So this is a very hands-on. You're going to be writing design documents, and you're going to be writing code. This is a programming class, not like CS160, which is kind of a mixture, right? And then we use this 4.0 grading scale here, and you can kind of see where that breaks down, right? And so we think that this is much more equitable grading style, and we've been doing this for a while here. Makeup policy, I'll let you read this at your own leisure. Again, I do provide a lot of flexibility here, but you gotta communicate with me. Policy, 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 and policy. Good stuff for all of you to go through here. Okay? All right, you're ready to rumble. If you have questions, post on the discussion board. Contact me by email. Thanks for hanging out in the video, and we will see you in class.